Don't overlook your pennies. Some Lincoln cents from 1983, 1988, and 2006 are worth far more than 1 cent. From rare double-die errors to unusual minting mistakes, these coins have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at auction. Before you spend that penny, learn which ones could change your life. In 1983, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents, each one small and simple in appearance, but carrying within it the potential to become an extraordinary treasure for collectors decades later. While most of these pennies circulated through the hands of ordinary Americans, helping pay for groceries, gas, or morning coffee, a handful of error coins slipped through the production process. These errors, which might look like imperfections to the untrained eye, are in fact the very reason some of these coins have become highly sought after by numismatists. One such example is the 1983 Lincoln 1-cent penny error, a coin that on its surface seems like any other, but in reality holds a secret that could turn a single cent into a small fortune. The 1983 Lincoln penny belongs to the Memorial Reverse Design Series, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design used from 1959 to 2008. During the early 1980s, the mint was in transition, having moved from solid copper cents to zinc-based coins coated with copper. This change led to challenges in production, and with those challenges came opportunities for errors to occur. Some of these 1983 pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets. Some displayed dramatic doubling on the letters and date, and others revealed striking mistakes that caught the eye of collectors. It is these errors that transformed the ordinary 1983 penny into something extraordinary. A coin error of this type can be valued anywhere from $55,000 to $125,500 depending on rarity, condition, and the level of collector interest. To think that a penny you could find in pocket change might be worth as much as a luxury car or a down payment on a house is enough to capture anyone's attention. Collectors and historians both appreciate the 1983 Lincoln penny for more than just its monetary value. This coin is a reminder of how even the most common and overlooked objects can hold secrets of great worth. The doubling on the obverse, known as a double die error, is among the most famous for this year. In these examples, the date, the motto "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty" show dramatic doubling that can be seen without magnification. Such a coin doesn't just represent a mistake. It represents a historical anomaly preserved in metal. Minting errors like these were not intended by the engravers or the press operators, but once struck, they became part of numismatic history, never to be reproduced in exactly the same way. Stories of collectors who have stumbled across these 1983 error pennies in circulation continue to inspire both beginners and seasoned numismatists. Imagine someone emptying their change jar, expecting only a few dollars worth of coins, only to find 1 cent that turns out to be worth $75,000 or more. These are not urban legends. Such discoveries have been documented through auctions and private sales. In fact, some of these coins, depending on grade, have crossed auction blocks with realized prices climbing towards 6 figures. When a single penny that cost the government less than 1 cent to produce sells for over $100,000, it underscores just how unpredictable and fascinating the world of coin collecting truly is. The 1983 penny also benefits from being part of a transitional era in American coinage. The switch from copper to zinc planchets made quality control more complicated, and transitional errors did escape the mint. For example, a few 1983 cents struck on copper planchets from leftover 1982 stock exist. These rarities combine the allure of a transitional error with the mystery of how they were overlooked during inspection. Coins like this, authenticated and graded by leading numismatic organizations, have fetched impressive sums, often surpassing $55,000 even in circulated condition. At the top end, pristine mint state examples with dramatic and desirable errors have commanded over $125,500, showing how condition and rarity drive value. Beyond the monetary rewards, the 1983 penny error has become a teaching tool for collectors. It teaches patience, sharp observation, and a sense of curiosity. New collectors are encouraged to carefully examine dates, lettering, and mint marks, knowing that the tiniest anomaly could turn into a life-changing discovery. Every coin tells a story, but error coins tell one that connects everyday people with the fascinating behind-the-scenes world of minting. The fact that one can still potentially find a valuable error coin in circulation is part of the thrill that keeps coin hunting alive today. The marketplace for 1983 era pennies is as competitive as it is rewarding. Collectors worldwide actively search for these pieces, and auctions often generate bidding wars when an example in exceptional condition comes to market. Some collectors specialize entirely in Lincoln cents, and for them, securing a 1983 era penny is a prized achievement. It's not just about owning a rare piece of metal. It's about holding a piece of American history and minting intrigue in the palm of your hand. Auction records show that the value range of $55,000 to $125,500 is no exaggeration, but a reality supported by passionate collectors who understand the rarity and significance of these coins. For those who may be wondering whether they might unknowingly have one of these treasures tucked away in an old jar, the answer is yes, it is entirely possible. Coin errors often slip unnoticed into circulation, only to be discovered years later by someone with a keen eye. Examining coins closely under good light or with a magnifying glass can reveal doubling, off-center strikes, or even planchet anomalies that set a coin apart from the billions of ordinary cents. The thrill of discovery is what keeps many people searching through rolls of pennies from banks, estate sales, or flea markets, hoping to uncover that one coin capable of turning a hobby into an unforgettable payday. The 1983 penny also speaks to a broader truth. Value can often be hidden in plain sight. What most people dismiss as common change could, under the right circumstances, be worth thousands or even over $100,000. It's this very possibility that makes error coins like the 1983 cent so captivating. While collectors love the artistry and history of coins, the allure of discovering hidden wealth in a single cent adds another layer of fascination. These coins remind us that the mundane can become extraordinary when given the right context as years pass. The number of high-quality 1983 era pennies available will only decline, since coins in circulation continue to wear down. That scarcity will make surviving examples even more valuable to collectors in the future. For anyone holding on to one, time might prove to be an ally, further increasing the value as interest in error coins continues to grow. With the current value range of $55,000 to $125,500, these coins already represent life-changing finds, but the potential for even higher prices in future auctions cannot be dismissed. Ultimately, the 1983 Lincoln penny era has become more than just a coin. It is a symbol of how the unexpected can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. It represents the hidden possibilities within the world of numismatics, where a small detail overlooked at the mint can create a rarity worth tens of thousands of dollars decades later. For collectors, it is a reminder to keep searching, to never underestimate even the humblest of coins, and to appreciate the stories that each piece of currency carries with it. The 1983 penny era is not just a cent. It's a treasure, a piece of history, and for the lucky finder, a doorway into a world where passion and discovery meet immense reward. The 1988 US 1 cent penny might seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, just another Lincoln cent among billions struck in the late 1980s. Most people have seen it, held it, and spent it without giving it a second thought. But hidden within this common year of mintage lies one of the most intriguing minting anomalies ever to reach circulation. A rare error variation from 1988 has transformed the penny from a simple coin worth 1 cent into a prized collectible capable of commanding prices that range from $50,000 all the way up to $116,500 at high-end auctions. For collectors, historians, and everyday people who stumble upon one in circulation, this coin represents the possibility that hidden treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. To understand what makes the 1988 penny era so captivating, it's important to know the background of the Lincoln cent during this era. The coin design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse had been in place since 1959, when it was introduced to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1988, the coin had already shifted in composition from mostly copper to copper-plated zinc, a change made in 1982 to reduce costs. This means that the 1988 cent, like those from the years immediately before and after, is made of a core of zinc with a thin layer of copper plating. The design, however, remained unchanged. Billions of these coins were struck, most of which flowed freely into circulation. But within that ocean of coins, A small number carry the famous transitional error that sets them apart from every other Lincoln cent. The error lies in the obverse design, specifically in the style of the mint mark and the portrait of Lincoln. In 1988, a few pennies struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints were produced with a die that mistakenly used features intended for the following year, 1989. These transitional varieties are known as the 1988 reverse of 1989 penny and, in some cases, a double die obverse. On the reverse, collectors noticed that certain design elements, most notably the spacing and style of the letters and the shape of the G in FG, the designer Frank Gasparo's initials, did not match the 1988 design. Instead, they matched the reverse design intended for 1989. For specialists, this was a clear sign of a transitional die error. The double die obverse examples from 1988 are equally fascinating. Through the die-making process, when the hub impresses the design onto the working die multiple times, slight misalignments can occur. This results in noticeable doubling on the coin itself. For the 1988 penny, this doubling can sometimes be seen on inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust, creating a shadowed or doubled appearance that is visible even to the naked eye. Such doubled dies are highly sought after, especially when they are dramatic and easy to spot. For collectors, these errors represent a moment when precision slipped at the U.S. Mint, producing a rare collectible that slipped into the hands of the public. What makes this coin even more compelling is that for years after its release, many people were unaware of its significance. The vast majority of the billions of 1988 pennies struck went into circulation, unnoticed and unremarked. It wasn't until collectors began carefully studying coins from the late 1980s and early 1990s that the error was identified. Word began to spread through numismatic circles, hobby magazines, and eventually coin shows that the 1988 cent might hold hidden treasures. People began pulling out their jars of pennies, magnifying glasses in hand, checking for that subtle difference in design that marked a coin worth far more than its face value. The market for these coins exploded once the error was confirmed and authenticated by professional grading services. A genuine 1988 penny with the transitional reverse or double die obverse suddenly became one of the most desirable modern cents. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents, one of the most popular series in U.S. numismatics, rushed to add this variety to their collections. Auction houses began to see fierce competition for the finest examples, driving prices upward. A penny found in circulation might bring in a few hundred or a few $1,000s depending on its condition, but in mint state, high-grade condition, the value has soared astronomically. Coins graded MS 66 or higher, certified by PCGS or NGC, have been known to sell for staggering amounts, ranging from $50,000 up to $116,500. The numbers are shocking when you consider the coin's original denomination of just 1 cent. These high values highlight the critical role condition plays in coin collecting. The difference between a circulated example and a pristine mint-state coin is massive. A coin that spent years in circulation, passed from hand to hand, will almost always show nicks, scratches, and where that significantly reduce its value. But coins that were set aside early on, perhaps saved in a roll or preserved in a collection, stand out as exceptional. When one of these comes to market, collectors know they may not get another chance for years, and the competition drives prices higher. That is how a 1988 penny, an everyday coin, transforms into a six-figure treasure at auction. The story of the 1988 penny error is also a reminder of the human side of coin collecting. There are stories of families finding one in a jar of spare change, of kids discovering one in their allowance, and of casual hobbyists realizing they own something extraordinary after decades of it sitting unnoticed in a collection. Each coin carries with it not just its error but its journey, how it made its way from the mint into circulation, how it survived, and how it was eventually discovered. This narrative adds to the coin's allure and explains why demand remains so strong even decades after its release. Another layer of intrigue comes from the comparison to other transitional errors in U.S. coin history. Coins like the 1977 D penny with the reverse of 1976 or the 1992 close AM and wide AM cents are similarly prized for their transitional mistakes. But the 1988 error stands out as one of the most iconic because of its clear, visible differences and the excitement it generates among collectors. Transitional errors speak to the complexity of coin production and the occasional slip-ups that can turn an ordinary year of mintage into something extraordinary. Certification is essential in this market. With values ranging from $50,000 to $116,500 for the best examples, collectors need assurance that they're getting the real thing. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC examine these coins under high magnification, confirm the authenticity of the error, and assign a grade that reflects its condition. A slabbed coin not only provides peace of mind but also maximizes its value at auction. In fact, uncertified coins, even if genuine, often sell for significantly less simply because buyers want the security of professional authentication. The broader significance of the 1988 penny error is that it bridges the gap between everyday life and extraordinary value. Unlike rare gold coins or ancient pieces that have always been considered treasures, this coin started out as nothing more than a penny. Billions like it were spent at grocery stores, fed into vending machines, or tossed into change jars. Yet a small number of them, thanks to an error, achieved a status of fame and desirability that ensures they will be remembered as one of the great modern numismatic finds. For collectors, the 1988 penny error is a must-have. For investors, it represents an opportunity to hold something that has consistently grown in demand and value. And for the everyday person, it serves as a reminder that hidden wealth can exist in the most ordinary places. The possibility that a penny in your pocket could be worth $50,000 or even up to $116,500 is enough to spark curiosity and inspire countless treasure hunts through jars of change and rolls of coins from the bank. The fascination with this penny also underscores why coin collecting remains such a vibrant hobby. It's about history, it's about detail, and it's about discovery. The 1988 penny error is more than just a coin. It's a story of a mistake at the mint, a discovery by collectors, and a transformation from common change to national treasure. It has inspired new collectors, fueled competitive auctions, and reminded everyone that sometimes the smallest objects carry the greatest surprises. So the next time you see a penny dated 1988, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Examine the details of the reverse, check for doubling on the obverse, and keep in mind the incredible journey of this coin. Hidden among the billions are a few rare treasures, and one of them could still be waiting to be discovered. It's a coin that proves extraordinary value can come from the most ordinary beginnings, and for those lucky enough to find one, it can mean the difference between spare change and a life-changing fortune. The penny has always been a coin that people either collect in jars or leave behind on countertops, a coin so common that it often goes unnoticed. But when you take a closer look at certain years, you begin to realize that not all pennies are created equal. Some of them hold secrets, mistakes from the minting process that transformed an ordinary cent into something worth an unimaginable fortune. The 2006 US 1-cent penny error is one of those coins, and it has taken the numismatic world by storm. While most people view it as just another Lincoln cent with the familiar design we've all grown up with, certain error varieties from that year have sold for amounts ranging between $40,000 and $102,000, making them some of the most sought-after modern cents in circulation today. To understand why the 2006 penny error is so valuable, we need to step back and look at the Lincoln cent's history. The Lincoln penny has been part of American life since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 2006, the coin was in its long-running Lincoln Memorial design phase, which had been in use since 1959. The obverse carried Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse displayed the stately Lincoln Memorial. For nearly 5 decades, billions of these coins poured out of the U.S. Mint every year, meant only to serve as small change in everyday transactions. But in the process of minting billions, mistakes are inevitable, and those mistakes are what collectors chase after. The 2006 penny has several error types that instantly raise eyebrows. Some coins were struck off-center, where the design didn't line up properly with the blank planchet, leaving part of the coin blank and the rest shifted. Others displayed double dies, where elements of the design appear doubled because of a misalignment during the die creation process. There are also coins with clipped planchets, where a small portion of the metal blank was missing before the strike, leaving the finished coin with a visible curved cut. Each of these errors tells a story about how something as small as a cent can become extraordinary. But perhaps the most fascinating errors of 2006 involve transitional mistakes, coins struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. During the mid-2000s, The U.S. Mint used copper-plated zinc planchets for pennies, but on rare occasions, a coin could accidentally be struck on a planchet meant for a dime or another denomination. Imagine holding a penny-sized coin that weighs differently or has a different metallic composition. Those are the kinds of unique mistakes that transform an everyday penny into a jackpot find. When a coin like this surfaces in pristine condition, collectors flock to auctions. That's when the excitement really takes off. It's one thing to hear that a coin is rare, but it's another to witness live bidding, where a penny that should be worth just 1 cent climbs rapidly into the tens of thousands. A 2006 error penny in high grade can easily command between $40,000 and $102,000, depending on the type of error and its state of preservation. The numbers almost sound unreal, but they are very real for the collectors who value rarity, and for the sellers who walk away with life-changing sums of money. What's so compelling about these stories is how they often begin with chance. Someone rolls pennies from the bank, sorts through pocket change, or empties a jar that's been sitting on a dresser for years, only to stumble upon something unusual. It could be an off-center strike, a visible doubling, or a coin that feels lighter than normal. At first, it may not seem like anything, but with closer inspection and sometimes a little research, the discovery reveals itself. The emotional leap from holding what you thought was a 1-cent coin to realizing it could sell for up to $102,000 is hard to put into words. For coin enthusiasts, finding a 2006 error penny is like striking gold. But even those who aren't collectors can appreciate the sheer thrill of the hunt. The possibility that a coin so common and overlooked might be hiding a fortune adds a layer of excitement to something as mundane as checking your spare change. It sparks curiosity. It makes people take a second look at coins they would otherwise ignore. That curiosity is what keeps the world of numismatics alive and thriving. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining just how much it can sell for. A heavily circulated 2006 penny with an error may still bring in thousands, but collectors are always looking for coins in the best possible condition. Those with mint state grades, the kind that look almost untouched since the day they were struck, command the highest premiums. The difference between a coin that spent years in circulation and one that has been carefully preserved can mean the difference between $40,000 and $102,000. That's why grading services like PCGS or NGC are so crucial in the world of rare coins. They provide authentication and assign grades that validate the coin's rarity and quality. Another fascinating aspect is how modern these coins are. We're not talking about centuries-old relics from the early days of the U.S. Mint. The 2006 penny error is relatively new, which means it could still be floating around in circulation today. Unlike ancient coins that have been dug up from the ground or found in collections passed down through generations, the 2006 error penny could realistically be sitting in someone's change jar right now, waiting to be discovered. That's part of what makes it so exciting. Its rarity isn't confined to history books. It's part of the present. Collectors also value these coins because they show how even in an age of advanced technology, mistakes can still happen. The minting process is precise and efficient, but no system is perfect. Every now and then, an error slips through, unnoticed by inspectors, and makes its way into the hands of the public. That flaw, that human or mechanical slip, becomes a treasure. It's a reminder that perfection isn't always the most valuable thing. Sometimes imperfection holds far more worth. Auction houses and private sales are full of dramatic stories of these coins changing hands. A seller who thought their coin was just a neat error ends up shocked when the final bid skyrockets past their expectations. A collector who has been searching for years finally secures the coin they've been chasing, paying tens of thousands for a penny that most people wouldn't glance at twice. These stories highlight the passion and intensity of the numismatic community, and they give everyone else a glimpse into why these coins are so desirable. But beyond the auctions, beyond the big dollar figures, there's something almost poetic about the 2006 penny error. It's a reminder that value isn't always obvious. Something small, easily ignored, and thought to be worthless can hold immense significance. It challenges us to look closer, to pay attention, and to appreciate the hidden gems in the everyday world. The 2006 US 1-cent penny error is a symbol of possibility. It shows that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value. It proves that you don't need to look far or spend a fortune to uncover something rare. You just need awareness, patience, and a little bit of luck. And who knows? The next coin you pick up could be the one worth anywhere between $40,000 and $102,000. So the next time you see a penny from 2006, don't dismiss it. Examine it closely. Look for misalignments, doubling, or anything unusual. That small piece of copper-plated zinc might not just be pocket change. It could be a ticket to a small fortune. In a world where so much goes unnoticed, the 2006 penny error teaches us that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight.